Continue.
All right, let's do it.
We're
Uh,
live.
we're
I don't think we're
live.
live, but we're recording.
Yep. Welcome everyone to the Fusion Podcast. This is the fourth edition. I'm your host Kevin Bacon, and here with me is Julio Moreno. He was president 2003 to 2004, or am I mistaken?
2000. I have to think about it. Four, five, six to 2007.
Oh, 2000, 2006 to 2007. My mistake, but
So
it's been a
yes,
minute, as they say. But
yeah. So it. I joined in 2004. That was my first year at Irvine,
mhm.
and 2004, 2005, I was just a member. 2005 to 2006, I decided to join the board, and I was a historian because I had just gotten my first camera.
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
yeah, yeah, I could do this, and I was looking to be involved in something,
Okay.
um, in a more leadership kind of setting. And then the third year, yeah, I was asked if I was interested. I was starting to already like plan a lot of stuff at the time. JP, whose last name is escaping me. JP was the president, and he was like, "Yeah, you should really try it." So I was like, "All right, I'll do it." And we did co-presidents. Do you guys
Oh,
do co-presidents anymore?
interesting, interesting thing that you say that because that was gonna be one of the things that we were gonna try to do this year, but it ended up not happening. But yeah, it was one of the things that we had to face as a board this year was like, oh, should we have or co-presidency? But yeah.
Was it like two people wanted to do it, or
Uh,
just this?
I believe the reason came from both presidents were voted. It was a really close margin in like how they were voted, so it's like why not just have two presidents? But uh,
All right,
we
that's
settled it.
interesting.
Yeah.
We usually like only had at most two people that wanted to do it. It's a big responsibility, as you probably already know.
Yep.
It's a lot more than you would think, unless you're president, I think.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing it from the outside, it's kind of hard to see like all the work that goes into being a president of like a entire club, basically. So
Oh yeah.
I could
So
definitely, yeah, see that.
yeah, for us, at least for president, if two people wanted to do it, I mean, we'd have a vote ish, but they both like were willing to share power, and it was actually very helpful. Mark Santos was my co-president.
Oh, okay.
I haven't heard from him in like a decade, so can't
It's
tell you what he's doing.
all good, all good. That is all right. Hopefully, if it all falls down, maybe have him next on the podcast, but who knows? Anyway, thank you for introducing yourself. I'm happy to like be speaking with you because God, 2007, that seems like so long ago. But
It is.
yeah,
It's 15 years almost.
yeah, base,
Dang.
yeah, yeah.
Dang. Way to make me feel old.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to. It's just
No,
uh,
it's all right. When you're in your 30s, you have a humor about it. It's not until you're in your 50s, I think, that you get sad about it.
oh, I see. See, I'm learning so much already just from speaking. But yeah, I mean, I guess we could go on to the questions. I mean, in Fusion, we like to have our icebreaker questions. So my icebreaker question to you is what's your favorite place you've traveled to so far?
Oh, that if you asked me 5 years ago, I would have said Japan. But the top spot has been taken by Myanmar.
Oh,
Myanmar,
okay.
Myanmar is an incredible place. They're at the brink of a civil war right now. But before that, um, it's just I don't know how many listeners have been to the Philippines. For example, I went for the first time last year,
Mm,
and some parts of the Philippines, for example, are like less developed for tourism than other parts, and they have a certain charm to them. So Myanmar, out of the countries in Southeast Asia, has that charm that like you don't really find if there's too much tourism there, because people get used to like price gouging, and
hmm.
um in a way sometimes tourism ruins places. But Myanmar was great. I went about 5 years ago, and yeah, it's just incredible place to travel. Just so many things to see. So such nice people, and not an easy place to get around unless you do some planning. But it's definitely worth it.
I see. I could definitely see the appeal of like going to a place that's like not everyone has gone to, just to have the experience of like telling people like, oh, I've been to this one place that like not a lot of people have gone to, and sharing your experiences like you have
Yeah,
right now. So,
it was one of those like because a lot of people go to Thailand, Cambodia, or Vietnam, and that's the oddball in that group.
I see. Yeah. I mean, the only I only know about Myanmar cuisine and very little about it, but it would definitely has slipped under my radar. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, yeah.
I wouldn't have known if somebody hadn't told me like in a trip. That's a common question we ask other travelers. What's your favorite place? And a lot of people say Myanmar. So I was like, gotta check this place out.
Oh, okay. Ooh, I mean, from that question, I mean, place that I really want to go to is for sure Japan, and that's on top of my list after all of this craziness is done with. So yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess now we could just move on to the next question, which is
Yeah.
more professional based. Uh, excuse me if this is a little far back, but what kind of projects did you work on during your time as an aerospace engineer, inside or outside of UCI?
All right. So there are some, I guess you can say, regrets or advice I'd offer, and that would be like follow this up the earlier the better, like your passions and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So the first thing I did was I tried to do research with and I didn't really know how to handle that, like how to approach that.
Hmm.
And I just kind of looked up the UCI list of research projects that professors are doing. And I worked with one professor in the physics department. I didn't even think to go to the engineering department at the time.
Hmm.
And we worked on a theoretical fusion reactor, nuclear fusion reactor.
Hmm.
And it was really boring. It was not fun.
I see.
He had me going to a lot of conferences on how to use like the software and stuff like that. And I realized after a few months this is not my thing. So like I told him, I'm gonna go in a different direction. And he was fine about it, like that professor.
Hmm.
And the one I spent the most time on was, I wonder if this professor's still there, because when I was there, it was his first year, Professor Valdevit.
Does not ring a bell to me. I mean,
He's
granted, I am not an engineer, surprisingly. So,
all right. Well, what do you do?
oh, I'm a film and media studies major at
Oh,
the
cool.
Maryland. So yeah,
I
but
don't think you're the first film and media president.
I'm not. Oh, I am not the president. I am the secretary.
Oh, okay. I thought you're president.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, we had a president, I believe, 3 years before me, more or less. That was film and media. But
Oh
in any
wow.
case,
Okay.
yeah, it's not unusual. But yeah, the what was it? I worked on a project to test this material from Boeing. So it
Okay.
was a material that was commissioned by NASA for Boeing to build.
Mhm.
And it was at the time the strongest material ever created. It was supposed to take. We're trying to test how much it can take as a column, like
Oh,
when you press it on a press like this.
okay.
And at the time in Irvine, we had a 25,000 pound press
Oh,
that didn't break it,
oh my God.
and it was only a quarter inch. So the sad part was that it was a lot of work, and I didn't even get to see the final test because they had to take it to UC Santa Barbara that had a 50,000 pound press,
I see.
and that cracked it at 44,000. It was supposed to be the skin for the Ares project, um, which
Okay.
was supposed to be the next generation of space shuttles.
Mhm.
And it was promising, it was fine, but it was very expensive, and NASA decided to just go with SpaceX. This was when SpaceX was taking off,
Oh,
and
okay.
SpaceX offered insurance, and they offered a way cheaper price tag. So they're like, all right, we'll just go with SpaceX. This is actually costing too much, and if we can send this to the private sector, it'll be better. And I mean, it was cool while it lasted, but it was like that's when I started to realize maybe I, at least right out of college, didn't want to go straight into engineering.
I see. Okay, okay. I think a lot of us, uh, me included, to be honest, are like scared of going straight into our own fields of work specifically because it's kind of daunting to like just go straight into, work and just working in your own field. So I could definitely see that as good advice, to
Did
be
you
honest.
start? Did you start? Have you done any internships?
I haven't done internships, but I've done filming projects within UCI.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so like not specific like, internship like from like specific companies or whatnot, but yeah, I've done projects here and there. Like
Oh, that's
nothing
really cool.
major, but yeah. But yeah, I mean,
Everybody starts somewhere.
yeah, exactly. Everyone starts somewhere, so I think just getting experience in general is just good, especially if you're able to get it within UCI. So,
Yeah, I think a lot of professors are more than happy to have free labor. So
I mean,
my
I could, yep.
one thing I learned is that I'd rather work with a professor I like, even if I'm not as interested in the research, than research I like with a professor I don't like.
I could definitely see that because, you know, you still have to talk to them and like, like if you're just not on equal terms in terms of just like, like you guys, I guess this is a bad word to say, but vibe with each other. But yeah, if you
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
vibe, it's
to
just,
this day, that same professor still writes letters of recommendation. So it's worked out 15 years later.
I see, I see. But yeah, that that's interesting in terms of like that project, the second project you talked about in particular with all that like yeah,
it
material and stuff.
it sounds cooler than it was day to day, and I think that's what I realized engineering can sometimes be. It's more of a big picture kind of thing.
I see. It's the
So it's
thought of it,
and some people are
become.
great at that. Some people really like that. Some people like to contribute to a greater whole. I
Hmm.
realize I'm not like that. I like the day to day satisfaction.
I see. I mean, God, I haven't even thought about like that point where it's like, what do I really want to do? Do I want to like, yeah,
Wait, I mean, you have time.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you know, I'm still in my early 20s, so I got time to figure that out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can move on to the next question,
Sure.
which uh, can you talk about your current job and how you are developing professionally?
All right. So I moved into education. Um, it was on a whim. So interesting you mentioned Japan because my story for getting here was totally by luck. I decided to take my little brother to Anime Expo in LA.
Oh my God.
I'm actually not into anime, but he
Okay.
is. So
Okay.
so I was like, all right, we'll go to Anime Expo, and we're doing. I don't know. Have you been to Anime Expo?
I've it's my local. It's technically my local con, so I've gone since I believe 2016. So
All right. Yeah. So we went for a few years, like every year after that when I came back home. But that year, there was like one workshop he wanted to do, but it got full,
okay.
and we're like, all right, well, what do we do? We have like an hour. And I'm like, well, let's just pick one. And we just walked into a random one, which happened to be how to teach abroad in Japan.
Oh.
And I had actually never heard of it. Most people that teach abroad, they heard about it from a friend or like, they know somebody that's abroad right now. I had
Hmm.
never heard of it. This is not in my realm. And I just became obsessed with the idea.
I see.
And I realized Japan paid too little and the process was really difficult because a lot of people want to go to Japan.
Hmm.
And at the time, China paid too little. Now China pays the most, but China paid too little, and it seemed okay. So Korea was a happy middle. But since then, I've just progressed like to different better jobs. I teach at an international school right now on the island of Jeju.
Oh, okay.
So actually, let's see. Let me rotate this. You can see a mountain in the background.
Oh.
Maybe.
Oh,
Where's this mountain? There it goes.
oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I
that's
see it.
that's 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 the playground.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm at work. I just finished work. And next year I'm moving to be I'm doing an internship right now because I moved into international school and that's a very difficult like field within Korea.
Hmm.
But finally I got a full position in Seoul starting next year. So that's where I'm leaning towards. That's a more of a I guess I call it an end game. That's something you can actually work on and live comfortably if you continue down the international school path.
I see.
I do plan to come home uh eventually, sooner rather than later, like in a few years.
Hmm. It's crazy. It still boggles my mind that I'm having this podcast with someone like across the world, because like I just like definitely the last guest, like the furthest I've talked to was San Diego with Andrew, the previous guest. But
All right. I was
yeah.
watching that episode just now.
Mm-hmm. So it's crazy, but kudos, man. I am also thinking about that at some point, but we'll see. We'll see. Japanese is pretty hard, so
All right. I mean, you don't have to speak the language right away if you go, but it definitely helps.
yeah, for sure. I just want to be engrossed within the culture, you know. So,
That's what my friend Marlon did. So that's why he's there. I think he's been there 3 years now.
ooh, I see. I see.
He's an engineer. Actually, I believe he specifically asked to transfer.
Oh, okay. Wild. I
Yeah.
might need to track him down, possibly, but we shall see. But yeah, I mean, it's it's crazy. I mean, follow up question, I guess, next on the list is advice for changing fields of study. Like, is there anything that you would have wanted to tell your previous self within UCI? Like any advice you would have wanted to give?
I think something I did by luck that I think helped out was that, you know, I, I hope Irvine still does this. There is kind of a policy that they had that it's one price for however many classes you take.
Oh, I believe so. I believe it's still like this. I
Like
mean,
every semester is a set rate. So every semester, to keep my sanity, because engineering can be pretty insane at times,
mhm,
I took one random class, like just completely, just something that was interesting to me.
mhm,
And so I took like the physics of weapons was one of them, which was really cool. Um, and my fifth year, I started taking educational courses, like teaching courses, because I tutored for most of my UCI career, just to make some money,
I see.
and I really liked it. Like I got a hold of I had a class of 16 college freshmen at Irvine. That was my
Mhm,
first like formal teaching job, I guess. You don't
mhm,
get paid, you just get credit. But yeah, I did that and a lot of stuff like that. I think take advantage of that, like you don't have to pay extra for that kind of stuff,
mhm,
especially if you do summer session at the time. If you did summer session, you have to pay for 8 units and you
mhm.
can take as many classes as you want.
I
So
believe it's still like that. So yeah.
I took advantage of that too. So I would actually like get better grades too, like for classes I didn't do so well in.
Mhm.
And that ended up saving me big time because it bumped me over 3.0, which is the minimum for grad school
I
in many
see.
cases. And
Okay.
I was not planning on going to grad school ever. So never say never, you know? I
I,
Yeah, I was like never going to school again. Like I'm done. And then like 4 years later, I was like, well, if I want to do education formally, I need an education in education. So I did a master's in education at USC.
oh, okay. Oh, USC. Dang.
I'm a Trojan as well.
I see.
Zot,
Zot and I don't know what the
whatever
US.
this is called. I don't remember. Victory or something.
Oh, okay.
I was, I was clearly at Irvine longer than USC.
It's okay. It's
But
okay.
yeah, take advantage of those classes, I think, and also like different clubs in Irvine to just kind of pique your interest in other things.
Hmm.
Like kind of just roll the dice on some of these things.
Yeah, I could. I mean, the club thing in particular is like, I feel like that's one of the biggest things that like people don't realize is like joining clubs that like you just have a slight interest in is still good. Like even like you could possibly get like a bird position. Maybe that's not like your intention, but just meeting people and like just seeing other things is like to broaden
People
your
get
horizon.
people get you jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
I have had like just from friendships that I kept, like just been offered a job. Like, hey, if you come back, you can take this position. I was like, damn, that's. I mean, I have a friend that worked in machining, the materials engineer, and he was a year younger than me. He wasn't in Fusion, but he hung out with some similar people.
Hmm.
And after I went abroad for a year, when I came back, he's like, "Hey, I'm getting promoted. If you want my job, you can have it." I was,
Wow.
and then I have another friend who was a vice president, Nate, who whose dad was an aerospace engineer for like 2 decades.
Hmm.
I mean, these are connections that you can leverage to your advantage, even if that's not your intent. Like
Hmm.
they kind of pay big dividends.
Yeah, that's also like a thing. It's like, granted, some of them are, you're like, some of the offers are like, you're probably not going to choose, but like as you said, like using them as leverage for like showing like, how you are, or like how much you're wanted is like definitely a way to
Yeah,
make you look way better.
I mean, some of those offers are terrible. You should ask Ralph next time you see him about his job at Zodiac, his very first job. I
Oh
didn't,
no.
I, I didn't forget Ralph, but
It's
he's
okay.
doing well for himself now.
It's okay. When I post
So
this, I'll at Ralph specifically just so he could watch it and find that one bit.
I'm definitely gonna get a message from him.
Let's hope he watches the podcast.
But yeah, you make a lot. I had another. He was my roommate too. Alex. He went by Kipper, and he's a doctor now, and he's a nice person to refer to whenever like you have like when you have like an odd doctor question, but like you don't want to go to a doctor just to ask a question.
Hmm.
A lot of these relationships I think you build with clubs and just people that you meet in Irvine and in school. You don't meet that many people after after work after
That's
that.
Yep. It's just a big melting pot, and you don't get that kind of offer outside of university, unfortunately. So take advantage while you can, I guess.
That's the big takeaway.
For sure, for sure. I mean, all right. Moving on. I guess we're gonna be shifting more towards, fusion and like all that jazz, less about like professionalism, I guess. But next question is, how was fusion back then, and what led you to being part of fusion in the first place?
Oh man, that's a hard one to answer because I don't know how fusion is now.
That's fine. I mean, like,
But
yeah.
um, when I started, I met not directly through email. I talked to the founders. I don't know if you guys know the three founders. There are
Oh,
three there are three girls that founded the
oh
club.
yes, I know of them, but I don't know their names specifically,
We
unfortunately.
actually talked to the I don't remember their names either, but we contacted them when we wanted to change the name of the club.
Oh.
Um, what does the S mean in fusion?
Oh, right now? Okay. Filipinos unifying scientists, engineers.
Okay, so it used to be student engineers,
Oh, okay.
but we wanted to broaden to other sciences,
Mhm.
and I don't remember who came up with the idea. It might have been Daniel Eusebio, who's also in education at the time. Actually, he
Mhm.
was president after me, and he was my vice president actually. Um, and we thought, what if we change the student engineers to scientist engineers? We can broaden to more kinds of students.
Mhm.
So that was a big push at the time. From the pictures and videos I've seen, I feel like we have a theme similar to what I've seen online. It's hard to say, but we had a theme every week. We had like egg drop contests, a lot of science-based contests. We
Mhm.
had preparing for interviews and things like that.
Mhm.
The board, we used to have an outing once a semester, once a quarter,
Oh, okay.
and like one I remember we would go to Vegas for one. We
Wild.
would for spring break we'd go to Vegas for sometimes we'd go camping and like we would like plan out the next quarter of fusion.
Mhm.
That's like from the board's point of view. And then we would try to collaborate a lot with Alianza.
Mhm.
Is Alianza still around? I hope
Yeah,
so.
yes,
Uh,
yes. Alianza is still. Yep, we are still an umbrella org under them, Alianza, and then the rest of the Filipino clubs underneath. So.
and there were five at the time, which one was disband. Teps was disbanding. Um,
Mhm.
because the last members were leaving. That they were more focused on like civil rights and things like that, but it was a very like time intensive thing, and the members were graduating. But it was like Alianza and Kababayan and us, and I forgot the other three.
I mean, right now we have Pass, Puso.
Pass Puso, yeah.
Yeah. So.
We actually intertwined a lot of those members too. Like
Oh, okay.
so, some of the a lot of the members we had in Fusion were like leadership in Puso. So we
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of stuff with Puso. I actually completely forgot until you just mentioned Puso right now.
It's okay.
And
it's been a minute, so.
and especially as like leadership, we try to like support and like show up to like Alianza meetings and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I'm not Filipino. I don't know if this has come up yet, but
It's
that
fine.
was actually really wild. So it's another long story, but a lot of the stuff was somewhat new to me.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, after a few years at Fusion, you kind of get used to a lot of the cultural aspects of it.
Hmm. Yeah, just being part of like the Alianza like umbrella just helps you, you know, get in
Yeah,
tune
and
with the culture.
so going back to how did I join Fusion?
Hmm.
That's part of the not being Filipino, because the president my first year was this guy named, there's two of them, Rod Lester and K1. But Rod was he was an aerospace engineer, and he would try to reach out to like other engineers or even non-engineers or even non-Filipinos to
Hmm.
join the group. The group still focused on like the engineering and Filipino themes if applicable,
Hmm.
but it wasn't restricted. I don't know how it is now if there's any non-Filipino members.
Oh, definitely. We are definitely like, any kind of like you don't even have to be engineering or Filipino to join our club. Just come in if you want to learn and be part of this club. Just come through.
Yeah, so every year was like that, and Rod was very, he really sold it, and I think that that's what got me because there's Mecha, that's the Mexican American, I forgot what it stands for, but that's a, Mexican American engineering club, and I felt like their club didn't really sell it to me. They just expected me to join because
Hmm.
like well, you're a Mexican American, you're an engineer, so of course you're gonna join. They didn't really try, but Rod was really working really hard. We have fusion tech and we have like these events, and he's like breakdancing during the this is during opening orientation for freshmen,
Oh,
and I was
okay.
like, whoa, what is going on with this group? This group sounds dope, and I was like, all right, I'll join. And yeah, I joined my first year. I think it was like my second or even third semester. I didn't join right away.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was I just stuck to it. That's the one club I stuck to the whole time.
I see.
So yeah, I think when you have kind of somebody that really sells it and is inclusive and kind of opens you up to, giving it a shot, that kind of made it for me at least.
I see. I could relate on that end because as I said, I'm not an engineer. I am a film and media studies major, so joining the club was like, why would I even join? I'm film, like I'm not even an engineer. But then, shout outs to Dom, which is who was president when I first joined, and she basically convinced me to join, and I was like, okay, I mean, I guess I'm here now. But
Yeah,
I wouldn't take that back for anything. I'm glad I joined Fusion.
yeah, I have no regrets. I'm very happy to have met the people I met
For
and
sure.
the experiences I had all throughout.
For sure, for sure. I mean, I guess follow up question to how Fusion was, but a little bit more professional, I guess, is what motivated you to become president, and what did you learn from the position itself?
All right, so when I was in my second year, I was historian,
Hmm.
and this guy named JP Martinez, that's his last name, I remember now. He was president, and like it always towards the end of the year, they're trying to see who's interested, especially within the board, like because you have some experience with being a board member if you're interested.
Hmm.
And the problem was that a lot of people that were bored that year had already been board for like multiple years. Everybody knew the responsibility and how much time it takes to be the president.
Mhm.
And I guess I seemed to be the only one in the board who was interested and seemed to like. And at the time, I was very hesitant, to be honest, because I wasn't Filipino. I was like, I don't know how that's gonna play down, especially with the other Alianza organizations.
Mhm.
But JP, shout outs to JP. JP was very like positive about it, and I think if it wasn't for JP, I wouldn't have done it. JP was like, "Yeah, you should really try it." And he really like kind of pushed me towards it in a positive way, like encouraged me that that's not going to be an issue. Like, you're part of the family, and like you should really do it to keep this club running.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I did it, and out of the left field, another dude named Mark Santos, he wanted to be president too. So we did co-presidents that year. There's no struggle for power, and we did a lot of power. I encourage it. I think it's better. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of
Mhm.
so we did a lot of divide and conquer, and to my knowledge, we never had any conflicts. We had a romantic Valentine's Day dinner, which is another long story, but we both happened to be in suits when my car broke down, and we we happened to go for dinner, and we totally forgot it was Valentine's Day. But
Wha-
yeah, yeah,
Man, that just that on its own sounds like an amazing story to tell just from fusion.
I was telling it to my wife a few days ago, so, so I was like, uh, that was ridiculous. But Mark's a good guy. He definitely like we did. I think we made an overall very good team.
I see. I mean, I'm surprised that co-presidency was happened way before then because to our knowledge we were like, has co-presidency ever happened before? That's why we were so like confused on like what it should be in terms of like the constitution. But
Uh um See, the three founders, the three girls that founded it, I don't know if any of them were single presidents. But anyways, 3 years down the line, Rod Lester and K1 were co-presidents. That was 2004 to 2005
mhm.
co-presidents. Then there was a single president. Then me and Mark were co-presidents. Then there was a single president, and I kind of lost track after
I
that.
see, I see, but
But it's happened twice at least. I can confirm it's happened at least twice.
I see. Yeah, that's wild because at least through my time of being in fusion, it's like it's always been a single president. So it was
I mean,
it's crazy finding out that it happened way back then.
yeah, it's good because I think. I mean, it depends on the personalities, of course, but
Hmm.
it's good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being the vice president or like any other leadership. It's like you when you do the board stuff, like you kind of all contribute.
Hmm. Yeah, it's not just the president that does all the work. That's like that's why there's a board, like multiple
Yeah,
people working on different positions and all that stuff. So
I did a ton of stuff my last semester as historian because I was like being tapped to be president. So JP's like, you gotta learn this stuff.
I see, I see, I see. All right. I mean, I guess we can move on. A little shift away from fusion, just since you did talk about, teaching abroad and all that stuff. I was wondering if you had any advice for those who wanted to do that and anything you wish you knew beforehand before going straight into it.
There are a few things. I don't know if this is still policy, but so in Irvine, well, this is kind of goes with the problem with studying abroad. What a lot of engineers used to do in the States. Let me go even further back. Okay, engineering is a lot harder in the States than pretty much anywhere else on earth.
Mhm.
End of
Okay.
story. Because of great inflation, and great inflation is a huge problem in other countries,
Mm,
even in Europe. So at the time, Irvine had implemented a rule that you
mhm.
can only study abroad only your second year as an engineer and only in Tokyo University.
Ooh.
One university in the entire planet. That's it.
Yikes.
I looked into it in my third year. So As you can imagine, I did not study abroad.
I see.
So so yeah, I think look at the current rules and regulations as soon as possible would be my biggest takeaway from that,
Mhm,
because there could be some rules that just don't make sense.
mhm.
But the reason for that rule is that you're not allowed to take any upper division courses abroad, because you have to take all abroad credit for pass no pass, and you're just not allowed to do that for upper division courses.
Mhm.
And yeah, and Tokyo University, only because in the past, before my time, people would go to Spain, and Spain, I guess, was known for like international students. You just get passed no matter what you do.
I see.
And engineering's not something that like you can not learn thermodynamics and think you're gonna understand combustion. I don't know. This resonates with anyone listening. If you don't know thermodynamics, you're not gonna get combustion. End of story.
I see. I've heard of both of those things, so I would hope people
or
get it, I
an,
guess.
or another one is two very very easy courses: statics and dynamics. If you don't know those two, you're not gonna get structures, which was MAE 150 at the time.
Mhm.
Or yeah, so they add on to each other more than any other field that I can think of,
Mhm.
like way more than education. At least education you can kind of jump in jump out whenever, but like because of that they have very very strict rules about what you can and can't do. And that's, at the time, I think, something I didn't realize. I You don't think about it too much, but just our university system in the states is just fantastic
Mhm.
by comparison to most of the earth. Even like most European countries. Professor Valdavid, who I talked about earlier,
Mhm.
is Italian, and he talked about how like it's just in Italy, it's just sometimes you get preferential treatment if you went to that university. You have that in Korea too. If I graduated from this university, my
Mhm.
odds of getting into a master's or PhD program in that same university like are a lock almost.
I see. Okay.
Whereas that's very frowned upon in most universities in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
I think look into what are the rules for study abroad. Try to do it. I think I would have definitely done it had I known, and it would definitely like, even if you can't work abroad like I have, like that's definitely a great way to um, learn about another country, explore the world a little bit.
Mhm. But yeah, I mean, I wish I knew about this stuff beforehand. I mean, granted, my thing was like what you did, which is like or did you what is it? Japan teaching English abroad, like in Japan or something. But you know, we'll see.
I
But
mean, you still can.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
people do it after they graduate.
Mhm. So we'll see. We'll see. That's still on the table, hopefully. But
A lot of people go right after they graduate, because that's one of the requirements for the JET program, the Japan. I don't even remember what the other two letters stand for, but Japan English Teaching, I think it's called JET
mhm.
program.
Yeah, jet program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that, I think a bachelor's is your minimum requirement. So
Okay.
you're still ahead of the game.
I see. I see. I'm just scared. Like, I mean, all I know about the jet program is like it's definite. Like wherever you're placed to is like it. It's like all random, I guess, or not random, but like you won't like most of the time you won't be placed just straight into Tokyo. Like you might be in a more rural place where like you kind of have to know the language to make your way around.
That pushes you to learn it more though, because my
Mhm.
first year in Korea, I wasn't in Seoul. I was in a city called Daejeon,
Mhm.
but at the time, like very few people spoke English at all. So I definitely was motivated to study more.
I see. I mean, I guess that's a big motivator.
You
Trying to make your way around.
can't eat. If you can't
Yeah, yeah.
learn Japanese, you can't eat.
Oh, and all
I'd
that.
study what to say like before I ordered something.
Yeah, just look at the basic stuff and then like just still study that to make sure just get ingrained.
Yeah. Tokyo's great. Tokyo's a great city. I've been
Mhm.
twice now,
Oh, okay.
but I like Kyoto a lot more. Just because
Oh,
I like
Kyoto.
history. I'm a big history guy.
I see.
I minored in history while I was in Irvine.
Oh, okay.
I thought about switching, but because I've always liked history, but uh, engineering was I mean, I had too many things I liked. I think
I
uh,
see. I see. I see. But yeah,
had
I
to stick
mean,
had to stick to something.
hmm I think that's also a big thing where it's like you could like a lot of things, but you should have your interest like, you should always try to be focused on like what you specifically want to do. And
Yeah,
get
I mean, I think I still well a little bit more clarity now that I'm a little bit older. I guess
hmm I mean,
I know
yeah,
I want to keep teaching like long term, so I'm
that's
happy
good.
with that.
That's good. I mean, glad to find that out, now than never, like if you're stuck in something that you don't want to do, it's like, you know, oof.
I mean, I have had friends. I have one friend who one good thing about engineering is the pay, and the pay being good gives you, I think, flexibility to quit and just
hmm
travel if you want. Like I had a friend that quit and traveled for like 2 years
I see.
just with the savings from being in single guy engineer that like worked his way up, and he had decent pay, not a lot of expenses. So eventually he's just like, I'm out. I'm just gonna go travel.
That's true. I mean, yeah. I mean, me personally, like I switched majors from mathematics because I didn't see myself doing mathematics for the rest of, my time at UCI. I was like, this is not for me. So I saw film and I was like, ooh, this is something that like I could put like I'm passionate about, so I could definitely see myself, going far with it, I would say.
Yeah, I think one thing I would do if I had to do it again is I double major for sure. Two, if I was dictator of the earth, this is what I would do. I
Oh,
would force everybody to get two majors that are unrelated to each other.
oh, okay. I
Double down.
double down. So okay, okay. I can
One
definitely see that. Yeah, that'd be great. I kind of would.
big
Yeah, yeah.
because sometimes, I mean, the idealism of doing what you love is great, but sometimes like you run into a wall where like you can't find a job in that,
Mhm.
and you got to fall back in something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's, I think I wish I had done like maybe like finish an education major. I mean, it's a lot of work to double majors. Is pretty tough if you they're not related fields.
Mhm.
But I mean, if you're sure you want to do engineering, you can double major in that. That's always helpful, especially for aerospace with mechanical.
Mhm. Go hand in hand.
I think it's just 5 more classes now.
Oh, okay. I mean, there you go.
It used to be 6, and they reduced it to 5 my last year.
Oh. Wait, so does that mean that you got only 5 classes, or did you still have to do the sixth one?
That no, I actually didn't. I didn't even double major. But if I had like 2 to go, but if you did all your like aerospace classes
Mhm.
and you took like these 5 other like mechanical specific classes,
Mhm.
you would get also a mechanical engineering degree.
Oh, okay. Wow,
Yeah,
just
but I didn't want to do. I don't remember which one was like vibrations or something.
mm,
But vibrations and that was I heard was really hard. And machining I didn't do. I heard that was easy, but I didn't do it.
I see. Okay. I mean, and that's a lot. That get advice for you know, teaching abroad and all that stuff. I mean, I
We'll see
guess.
how many people run out there and enroll in a second major.
Oh my God!
This
Now
guy on the YouTube told me.
I'm gonna be recommended everywhere. I mean, I guess we're going down to the wire. So, one the last question for this session is what's your plan now? And what's your biggest goal at the moment? I mean, I heard you talking about your what is that? Going into your internship in Seoul. So, I mean, is there
So
anything
right
else?
right now in Seoul, and I'm sorry, right now I live on Jeju, and I'm doing the internship here.
Mhm.
But next school year, which starts in August, I'm starting a full position in Seoul. So I'm actually looking forward to that because right now we do co-teaching, and that's actually great. but I've been teaching for 10 years. This is not like my first year. It's great if it was your first year,
Mhm.
but like I'm ready to like just have my own like set of like procedures and class and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. And from there, like I think whatever school I'm at next year,
Mhm.
um, I'll stick to that until I leave Korea, and I hope to be a like elementary school teacher in California after that. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's that's what I'm looking at after that.
Okay.
I am certified to teach like physics and chemistry at the high school level. I actually did that this year,
Oh, okay.
the certification. So if I can't find a job in elementary, I'll go through high school.
I see. I see. And that's I guess the timeline is uh Seoul, and then at some point come back to California or like in the States to teach.
Yeah, yeah,
I see. Okay.
to California,
Oh, California. Okay.
to LA. I'm from SoCal.
Oh, okay. Shout outs to SoulCal.
Yeah,
From for sure.
I'm not from the Bay.
Not from
None
the
of this, none of this Bay stuff. Most of my close friends are from the Bay, though.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I find myself going up there quite a lot, actually.
oh, I see. I see. I mean, you like what you like, and you're from where you're from. Same. Same here.
I didn't really miss it until like a year or two ago. So it's a decade is a long time.
I, a decade is a long time.
Yeah, from now to when I graduated Irvine was 12 years. So it'd be like from now for you till like third grade or something. It's
Wait a minute.
crazy.
Yeah, that's a long time. I thank you for putting that in perspective of me. That's crazy.
I mean, yeah, like the first year is really slow, and then it kind of starts speeding up. I
Mhm.
mean, I've been married almost 5 years now.
Damn, that's not even on my mind to be honest. So we'll
You
get there
didn't
when we
meet
get there.
you didn't meet anybody at fusion meetings.
Hey man, I mean, yo, everything's online right now, so
Oh, that's right. That's right.
so
Wait,
it's kind of
w- w-
hard, but it's
yeah, but
okay. Hopefully, once this dies down, we'll see where life takes me.
are you graduating this June?
Yes, I am on track to graduate this upcoming June. Yeah. So,
All right. Are you fourth year or fifth year?
fourth year.
All right.
Mhm. So,
Ta take the victory lap.
yeah, take the victory lap. I'm
I
kind of nervous considering film is up in the air in terms of how everything's gonna work out.
Oh, that's tough. I graduated into a recession, and
Oh yeah.
most of my friends went into grad school. They're like, we're not gonna try to compete for these like $20,000 a year jobs. That's ridiculous. So we're gonna just wait it out.
I
It worked
see.
out for them. A lot of them did like their year in another school, usually
Mhm.
like UCLA, USC, and they had their masters and were ready to go.
I see. I see.
But yeah, I went abroad. It was not a good time in 2009 to try to get a job.
I God, that seems so
I
long
mean,
ago, but
right now it's worse. Like COVID for the film industry, that's tough.
yeah, it's there's just so many ifs, and it's like, oh God, how is it gonna change completely, or is it gonna stay the same? But it's
We'll
okay.
we'll see.
Hopefully. Yeah, we'll see. That's basically it. We'll see.
I mean, we're kind of waiting it out too. This island has been largely spared COVID. When I
Oh,
moved here, it had like 20 cases all time.
wow, wow,
We're
that's
up
so
to
little.
we've hit 500 so far, like the entire year, but still like it's relatively safe.
I see.
All
Okay.
things all things considered, I mean, it's worse places to be. We have beautiful beaches like really nearby and completely empty at some points.
Hmm. For sure. I mean,
We'll wait
yeah,
it out.
we'll wait it out. Yep, we're just waiting. I mean,
Hopefully this disaster is over.
yeah, I mean, the vaccine is circulating, so hopefully that, you know, brings us closer to back to normal life,
Let's
just
hope so.
being able
Yeah.
to, yeah. But yeah, I mean, with that being the last question, thank you for being part of the podcast. It was
Thank you.
great talking to you.
It's great finally doing something fusion related after so long.
For sure.
It's
Yeah.
it's really been forever. I don't think trying to think. I don't think I've done like a meeting or anything fusion related since I graduated.
And now
Cause
you're back
I
in.
because I haven't been I haven't been back for so long. So yeah, it's great to do something. I hope we can keep in touch. I did see the the Facebook group, the fan, what you call it?
Fusion Alumni Network, I believe. The Facebook
The,
group, yeah.
yeah, the S I believe still says student engineer.
Oh, thank you for notifying
I
me.
don't. I don't think we ever bothered to update that, but you can double check. I don't know if it's that. Is there another group or is it just that one?
I believe it's just that from my understanding, but I could definitely check
We
that out.
we had another group that just says fusion, but I mean I just looked right before the podcast and it says inactive for 11 years. So
Oh, that's what yeah, I believe the one that's current right now is
the fan one.
yeah, I mean that one for alumni related stuff, and there's also for everything Fusion, there's also Fusion at UCI. That's the one that we've been keeping up with in terms of
All
like,
right, if you link me to that one, I actually couldn't find that one.
oh, for sure, for sure. I could definitely link you to that
I did
after
try to
this.
look. I was like, what would it be called? And I searched specifically fusion at UCI and I couldn't find it.
Now, for sure, I could definitely direct link you to that Facebook page so
All
you
right,
could
man.
keep track. But is there anyone that you would want to shout out or want to see in the podcast specifically?
Let's see. Shout out to JP. Shout out to Rod Lester. Shout out to K1. Shout out to Marlon Micklet. Shout out to Ralph. Um, Nate. I like to see Marlon on this. That'd be interesting. Or Ralph. Um, yeah, or anybody from my era. Like it might be kind of irrelevant to most of the viewers,
I
but
mean, it's still
but it'd be
advice
relevant to me.
for sure, for sure. I mean,
The founders would be great. I think that'd be if you can get a hold of them.
I that'd be that would be
So
crazy.
you might your best bet would probably be to get a hold of somebody who can get a hold of them, like Rod. Rod Lester probably has them, and he's on the fan page, and he posted like 5 weeks ago. So I know
Okay.
I know he looks into it.
Okay, for sure. I'll definitely try messaging him and see if I could get into contact with the found. That would be crazy, getting like a
That'd be
founder to be on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. Yeah, but thanks for having me.
No problem. Glad to have you as a guest. I mean, man, that was it's just it's crazy seeing like all the way back then, like just fusion and how everything worked. So I
Yeah,
really appreciate you being on
eh,
here.
I really enjoyed it, so I'm glad to have been here.
Ah, thank you. Thank you.
All right,
I
all right.
mean, that was the fourth edition of the Fusion Podcast. Thank y'all for watching. Hope you guys are looking forward to the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.